see. Hello everyone, happy spooky month. I can't wear this, okay. I can't breathe in that. Sorry for being MIA for like 5 months. I just got very bored making doll content, which I've never been just a doll channel, but like that was my favorite content to make, but I got very bored of it very quickly. So, and also like a lot of the doll videos I was making were hauls and I can't afford to keep buying stuff, so I wanted to take this in a new direction, and I've been watching a ton of kill counts recently. This isn't what that is, what this is, but I was like, I really like horror movies. My channel is a reference to a horror movie. I should talk about horror on this channel. So that's what I'm gonna do. I didn't know where to start, but I was like, you know what, I could tell you my top 5 favorite franchises because then I'd get a chance to talk about why they're my favorite. So I thought that would be interesting. I'm dressed up. I'm wearing a child-sized Ghostface costume. I had to cut like a slit in the neck so it would fit, like the neck hole would fit. So that's fun. I've rambled on for way too much, so let's get to the point of this video. So, starting with number 5, we have Final Destination. I don't watch these super often, which is why they're at the bottom, but also my script's on my phone because I don't know how to memorize a script. Sorry if this is unprofessional. But I do enjoy them a lot, and actually when I was making this video I was like, okay, what takes the number 5 spot? Because I know my top 3 or 4, but I was like, what takes the number 5 spot? I was like, you know what, when I go to sit down, usually when I want to feel in the mood to watch a whole series, I'll watch all the kill counts. So what do I like to watch, what do I like to binge the kill counts for? Like Final Destination is one good series I do like to binge the kill counts for. And I do watch those movies every once in a while. But why do I like these movies? So, I love the creativity of the kills in these movies. I think that's why a lot of people like certain horror movies is because of the kills, you know, the kill counts, you know, a lot of people like to watch those, including me. So that's probably my favorite part of the series. I really enjoy the first one the best. I love how simple it is compared to like how gory the later movies get, which is a little hard for me to handle. I am one of those horror fans that's a little bit squeamish. So, but yeah, so I love I love all the little mousetrap type kills, I guess. Which is kind of similar to Saw, but also this is like death. You know, this Final Destination series is about people cheating death and then death coming back to get them, which is very interesting to me. So I love that about it. I'm trying to think, what else did I write? This is so professional. I think it's also, like, I love the last movie. This is a spoiler, but the last movie is a prequel to the first, so the fact that they tied the whole series together. Obviously, they reference the original movies in every sequel, like, oh, these people cheated death and then death came back to get them. But, like, the fact that they tied the last movie, or the most recent movie, with the first one, like, oh, it's a prequel, they're never gonna escape this. Very interesting. I loved that. That was a good twist. So that's really cool. And I think another thing I like about the series is because I'm terrified of dying. So it's kind of like exposure therapy to me, because it's like, you're gonna die someday. These people didn't die and then they ended up dying. Like, they escaped death and they ended up dying. So it's like exposure therapy. So I really like the Final Destination series. And yeah, just they have the number 5 spot. Because I don't watch them very often. I kind of forget about them. But they are one of my favorite series still. So in my number 4 spot, we have the Saw franchise. This is one of the series, because if you didn't know this about me, I used to be terrified of horror movies. Like, I could not go down that aisle at the store, or like at a movie rental place, when they still had those. I could not do that. And I think it was at my grandma's house, there were some of these movies, and just looking at the cases freaked me out. Like, it was so scary to me. But now it's one of my favorites. It used to have, like, be in my top 3, but when I started, like, sitting down and like writing down these franchises I love so much, and then like figuring out, you know, where they all laid in a line, I was like, okay, Saw might be bumped down a little bit more, because again, I'm a little bit squeamish, so they're a little bit hard to handle. I have to be in the right headspace to watch them, so I don't watch them very often. When it comes to the kill counts though, I do watch the Saw kill counts very often, because I love, which we'll get into that in a minute, I love the convoluted storyline throughout the movies, or like the main movies. So, that's probably my favorite part of Saw. This is the crazy soap opera drama storyline with the cop plots. Which that doesn't last the whole movie, but I think they're starting to bring back like the Jigsaw's apprentice characters for the recent ones. Like in Saw X was a prequel. So, it takes place between 1 and 2, I think. So, you know, they're bringing back those apprentice characters. Which I'm kind of glad they dropped, even though I love the soap opera-esqueness, I'm glad they dropped the cop plot for Saw X, because it was getting kind of boring. Even though I liked how convoluted it was, it wrapped up very nicely, so we do not need another cop plot. But yeah, let me see what all I wrote, because I forget. But yeah, these go higher over Final Destination, because I do watch the kill counts and the movies for these more than Final Destination. And similar to Final Destination, I also love the creativity of the kills for these movies. You know, like the traps and everything is what intrigued me. I was like, I am scared of these movies, but I really want to see what these traps are like. So I was like, okay, I'll watch the kill counts for them. So I did. And then now I like them. So they're one of my favorites now, which is very ironic because, like I said, I used to be terrified. So there's still, like, a lot for me. But, you know, that's part of horror, is making yourself uncomfortable. So, like, I still enjoy them, even though, like, I get a little bit squeamish. So that's number 4. So my third favorite franchise is A Nightmare on Elm Street. So now we're getting into the top 3. So we're starting with A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is another one I was absolutely petrified of. Freddy Krueger really freaked me out. I remember when I was first, like, getting into this, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch those. I don't even know if I want those DVDs in my house, or like a shirt or anything. I was freaked out. But now it's in my top 3, so, and probably one of my most watched, honestly. Once I was getting to the top 3, it was very hard to place these because I watch all 3 of these series quite a lot for the top 3. So, but yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. It's definitely one of my favorites now. I have a really good memory of once I started getting into Nightmare on Elm Street. They were playing it at Flashback Cinema at our local theater, and my dad took me and my sister to see it. I don't think he'd ever seen it. I thought he had, but apparently he hadn't. I really don't remember. But so that was a good memory. I still have the movie ticket stowed away somewhere. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I wrote down why I like these movies, but it's not coming to mind, but I know I like them. I remember. So, like, again, kind of with Saw and Final Destination, there are very creative kills in this movie. They're a little more fantastical. They're in a dreamland. So they're a little more crazy than, like, and less realistic. Well, I don't even know if the Saw ones are. None of these are realistic. All these movies have very interesting kills. But I love how fantastical they get, although they get a little more silly and less scary as the series progresses. Freddy kind of becomes more of a cartoon character, but I do really enjoy these movies, and I enjoy the kills. I love Nancy Thompson. She's an excellent final girl. I hate that they killed her off in the 3rd movie. But the 3rd movie is my favorite, so Freddy Krueger has a high honor of being my favorite horror movie ever because I love Nightmare on Elm Street 3 so much. So that's kind of a spoiler if I do a top 10 favorite horror movies or something, so, which it might change. But yeah, so that's my 3rd favorite horror franchise. So my 2nd favorite horror franchise is the Child's Play franchise, or Chucky. This was my final boss in horror, okay? I was terrified of Chucky. He scared me more than any other horror movie that ever existed that I knew of. Like, I was terrified of Chucky. And then, but now I love him. So, just a full circle moment, I guess. Not really a full circle moment, but I did not a 360, but I did a 180, and now I love Chucky. So, it's very ironic now, honestly, that most of my most feared horror franchises are some of my favorites. But I'm kind of glad because it was just annoying being so scared of everything. Like, I couldn't even go to, like, the movie aisle anywhere. So, but yeah, so my favorite part of Chucky, other than, like, the fact that, you know, it's kind of like, they've had, like, Don Mancini's been a part of every movie, including every movie and the show, other than the reboot. We don't talk about the reboot. But I love that Brad Dourif's been a part of everything, and now his daughter is. I love that Jennifer Tilly is always down to do something with Chucky. Like, I love that. But my favorite part of the series is probably just it's really gay. Like, it has a lot of queer representation. I know that's kind of a weird, not really weird, but, like, that's probably not what most people talk about when they talk about the series, but that's what I love about it. Because I think there's not much of that in the first 3 movies. They're more of just straight slashers. I guess you would call them slashers. But, starting with, like, Bride, we get a gay side character, and then in Seed, you know, we get a gender diverse character, we get Glenn and Glenda, and then, you know, we have, I'm trying to think what we had in, like, the later movies. I think we had where Nika got possessed by Chucky, and then so Tiffany And Tiffany and Chucky's relationship kind of became like a sapphic relationship. And then eventually, you know, Tiffany's bi, she fell in love with Nico, so like that happens. And then, you know, we have a gay main character in the TV show too. And it's just, I love the representation, you know, and like Don Mancini, he's a gay man, so like obviously it comes from like a good place, you know. So it's like, I love it. I love it so much. It makes me feel at home, and that, like, you know, I just love the franchise so much. It's not my first favorite though. It was for a little bit, but I flip-flop all the time between what my top two are. And other than that, they're just really good movies. Even when they get a little bit weird, like in Seed, like they're still really enjoyable. The kills are very interesting to me. Like, especially in Cult of Chucky, like using the compressed air to shatter the ceiling and it decapitated somebody, that was so cool to me. But yeah, so I love the Chucky series, as you can tell. But yeah, so that's probably not what a lot of people expect me to say. And say, what's your favorite part about the Chucky series? But yeah, that's my favorite part of Chucky series, is the representation. So, cool. I will get on to number one. So my number one horror movie franchise is the Scream franchise. I don't know if any of y'all predicted this, but for a while I kind of put Scream on the back burner because it was the first franchise I ever got into, so I kind of got bored of it. But recently I was watching all the kill counts again, and I watched like the movie, the first movie, and I was like, man, I literally owe it all to Scream, because that's the first franchise I ever got into. It was one that I was really scared of too, not as much as the other ones. Like, I didn't think, ooh, Ghostface is gonna get me the way I did like Chucky or Freddy or anything like that. But it was definitely one that I remember being afraid of. I used to be terrified of those bloody Scream masks with the pump. Like, one year my cousin wanted to be that for Halloween, and I was a little kid telling her not to do that, and for some reason she listened, I don't know. But yeah, it was funny looking back whenever. Now I love the Scream franchise, so. But yeah, this is the franchise that got me into horror, because me and my sister were starting to dip our toes into it, because we both used to be really scared. She was like, hey, I watched the Scream movies and they weren't that bad, and they were pretty good. And, like, they weren't that bad scary-wise, but they were pretty good movies. She watched the first one, I guess. Not multiple yet, but, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna check these out. And then, so we watched it together. It was such a good movie. Like, the twist, like, I expected Billy to be one of the killers, but I didn't expect there to be more than one killer. And when Stu, you know, surprised Sydney was one of the killers, I freaked out. That was so cool to me. And then I love all the sequels to a certain degree. The third one's not my favorite, but like every single one of them to a certain degree I love. Especially the most recent one, Scream 6. That one, I went to see that in theaters. I went to see Scream 5 in theaters too, but I went to see Scream 6 in theaters. And I had such a good time watching that one. I rewatch that one every once in a while, and it's so good. But yeah. I'm trying to read my script. But yeah, but one thing I love about this series is that we've had the same final girl for pretty much all the movies. And Sydney's a really good final girl. She's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I love her so much. She's such a badass, but, but even besides that, I really loved how we were in the process of passing the torch on to a new set of core characters, because, like, they killed off Dewey, and then, you know, we just kept bringing back Gail and Sydney. And I liked seeing them back, but I like how we were passing on the torch, and then they fired Melissa Barrera, so I'm kind of bummed about that. I probably will not be seeing the newest movie unless I can, like, buy it secondhand on DVD after it comes out, so it's a bummer. I'm gonna get the whole thing spoiled for me by the time I get it, but, like, I do not like how they treated her, so that's a bummer. That is one bummer about this being my favorite franchise, is I'm not gonna get to enjoy the newest movie. So, but yeah, Scream is my favorite franchise. I literally owe it all to Scream, so, I really like those movies. I'll probably have to rewatch them sometime soon. Like, I like to watch movies, like horror movies, throughout the year, but especially during October, it's like the perfect time to watch them, because fall's happening, it's spooky season, you know, so I really need to sit down and watch all the movies just to, you know, refresh and everything, so. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really fun to make. Sorry if I was really rambly. This is my first time using a script, and I'm not sure how to do it. But yeah, those are my top 5 favorite horror franchises. What are your favorites? Let me know down below, and happy Halloween!